Live from WTKR News 3. Your news at 11 starts right now.
Two boats collide, hurting several on board. How the boaters are doing tonight and the safety practices you should be following while out on the water. Plus, a former Hampton Roads sports star makes a big announcement. Why Camp Chancellor says now is the time to walk away from football. Good evening and thanks so much for being with us on this Sunday evening. I'm Todd Carrillo. The heat is on and it is not going away. Let's take a live look over downtown Norfolk with the News 3 Skycam. It was miserably hot today and it's still warm out there tonight. As we head into the holiday week, chances for relief not looking great. Let's send things over to Chief Meteorologist Patrick Rocky in the Toyota First Warning Weather Center. Patrick, not only is it going to be hot, it's going to be dangerously hot.
Yeah, it is going to be hotter and even muggier than today. And we do have a heat advisory in effect for most of the area. You can see why at 11 o'clock. It's still 84 on the peninsula, 80 for the south side. We've dropped to 78 for eastern North Carolina. Dew points well into the 70s right now. That's a measure of humidity. There's a lot of humidity out there. We got up to 97 this afternoon in Williamsburg, 93 in Newport News and in Suffolk and in Elizabeth City. And tomorrow, temperatures will be climbing well into the 90s again, and there will be more humidity. You can see we're going to climb to around 93 in the afternoon. Even by lunch, we're going to be up to 90. So it is going to be sweltering tomorrow. I mentioned that we will have a heat advisory in effect from noon until 8 o'clock. That includes all of Hampton Roads and all of eastern North Carolina, with the exception of the Outer Banks. That just means the heat and humidity will combine to make it dangerous outside. And there's really no relief right now on first warning radar. Clean sweep across all of Hampton Roads and eastern North Carolina. We expect to stay that way with mainly clear skies as we head overnight and toward tomorrow morning. It is a muggy night. We'll have plenty of sunshine tomorrow morning with temperatures in the mid-70s to start the day. There is some relief on the way. We'll talk about how much temperatures will drop and when we'll see more showers and thunderstorms coming up in your first warning 7-day forecast.
The hot weather and the holiday weekend means plenty of folks will be out boating in the coming days. Already today, 2 people were hurt, 1 critically, in a boat collision on the York River. News 3's Aaliyah Hodges is live tonight along the Norfolk waterfront, tracking boat safety for us. Aaliyah, today's crash a good reminder of the dangers out there on the water.
Absolutely, Todd. We've seen a lot of boaters out here, and although they're coming out here to have fun, it's important to be cautious to avoid anyone getting hurt. Police tell us in Gloucester County earlier today, a 16-foot boat and a 30-foot boat collided, and it left 2 people hurt. Investigators are left marking the damages on one of the boats involved in the crash at the York River Yacht Haven Marina.
That's not something very common you hear, where 2 boats run into each other like that, and not around here.
They got the call around 1 this afternoon of an accident between a 16-foot boat and a 30-foot boat in the York River entrance to Sarah's Creek. Police say the larger boat was coming out of Sarah's Creek. A man and woman were hurt while on the 16-foot boat, and officials tell News 3 one of them was rushed to the hospital. Other boaters nearby say they heard about the crash and say it can be dangerous while driving out on the water.
The reaction time and stuff on a boat versus in a car, you know what I mean? In a car you can swerve out of the way real quick. In a boat, reaction time is definitely not the same.
News 3 went out with the Virginia Conservation Police Friday ahead of the busy holiday weekend. And if you plan on being out on the water, officials are stressing the importance of wearing a life jacket.
Boats don't have seat belts, and if you were to strike something hard, you may end up in the water. It's the sudden surprise that you're in the water or the loss of consciousness that causes problems for people.
Police haven't said how the crash happened or if alcohol was a factor in Gloucester County. But boaters at York River Yacht Haven hope the victims involved in today's crash will recover from their injuries and hope other boaters remain careful while still enjoying themselves this 4th of July weekend.
It's a scary thing to be on the water and get into an accident like that. You should always be cautious, especially when operating a boat with other people on your boat.
And police tell us the collision remains under investigation, and officers across Hampton Roads want everyone to remain safe while out on the water this holiday week. Reporting live in Norfolk, I'm Aaliyah Hodges, News 3.
One person in Norfolk is without a home tonight after his apartment caught fire. Firefighters say they were called this afternoon to C Avenue near Church Street. Crews found the flames coming from a wall outside a unit on the 2nd floor. Everyone got out safely. Only one person was displaced because of the damage. A man is behind bars tonight after leading Virginia State Police on a chase through Virginia Beach Saturday evening. Troopers say they attempted to pull over Michael Lugo Jr. for speeding. Lugo continued driving but pulled over on Stancil Street and started running. Police found him in the backyard of someone's home. Lugo is charged with reckless driving, driving on a suspended license, felony evading from a police officer, as well as assault on an officer. No one was hurt during that chase. A new law named after a Virginia Beach college student who was kidnapped and murdered last year goes into effect today. The Ashanti Alert is a program for local, regional, and statewide notifications of critically missing adults. It is similar to the Amber Alert, which deals with children, and the Silver Alert, which deals with anyone over the age of 65. The Ashanti Alert was created after Ashanti Billy was abducted from her job at Joint Expeditionary Base Little Creek and taken to Charlotte, North Carolina, where she was found dead 11 days later. It is the end of an era for one of football's best safeties. Cam Chancellor, a Norfolk native, says he is walking away from the game of football and into his next chapter. News 3 sports anchor Mitch Brown spoke with Cam just yesterday. Mitch, what's the latest?
Yeah, Todd, yesterday when we talked to Cam about his future, his answer came with a bit of optimism. His faith never wavered during this 7-month process to try and get back on a football field. But this evening, Chancellor says it's time to walk away from the game he loves. A former Maury High and Virginia Tech star, Chancellor penned a 3-part message online stating that his neck injury showed no signs of healing in the final test. He played 8 seasons in the NFL, all with the Seattle Seahawks. He was a member of that 2014 team that won the Super Bowl 48, and he finishes his career with 12 interceptions and 11 forced fumbles. It's important to note that in his note, he never used the word retire or retirement, so rather he has not been cleared to play football. We'll have much more inside the Geico Sports Report coming up in a few minutes. Todd, back to you.
An iconic department store is closing 2 locations in Hampton Roads. Sears has been closing stores for years as they struggled to bring in more shoppers. Now the company has announced the Sears at Greenbrier Mall in Chesapeake and Pembroke Mall in Virginia Beach will close their doors for good come this September. Only the Newport News location will stay open for now. Shoppers say they are disappointed to see them go, but they're not surprised.
Just being able to come up and pick up something really quick, from a quality store is going to be, a great loss as well.
The 2 closing stores will start their liquidation sales by July 13th. Some Hampton Roads cities are changing their trash pickup days this week because of the 4th of July holiday. This year, Independence Day falls on a Wednesday. If you live in Norfolk and normally have trash days on Wednesdays, you need to make sure to put out your trash can tonight. Crews will be coming by tomorrow morning to pick it up. Virginia Beach and Chesapeake are pushing back all of their routes by 1 day starting on Wednesday. The city of Hampton does not have normal trash collection on Wednesdays, while Portsmouth trash is expected to run normally. For a full list of cities changing their trash pickup day, head over to WTKR.com. Hundreds of runners braved the heat this morning for the Tropical Smoothie 5K. 200 participants also joined the Smoothie Challenge, having to quickly drink a smoothie at the halfway mark. Winners of the challenge could win free smoothies for a year. All proceeds from the race benefited Camp Sunshine, a place for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. A Virginia Beach toddler had the chance of a lifetime today to get to throw out the first pitch at a Tides game. David Johnson is 2.5. He's currently battling a brain tumor. David needed a little help from his dad to throw out that pitch. The Casey Cares Foundation worked with the Johnson family to help a dream come true for this little boy.
He loves, T-ball, he loves to throw the ball and swing bat. So this was like an opportunity for him to actually be on a real field and actually throw an actual pitch. Wow.
His parents say although he is young, baseball is still his #1 passion. We are just getting started here tonight. 9 people hospitalized after a birthday party. Still to come tonight, how many of those hurt were young children and who police believe that suspect was targeting. And like a scene straight out of a movie, an infamous gangster escapes jail. Coming up, how he was able to escape that has many scratching their heads.
And I'm live here in the Toyota First Warning Weather Center. Great weather for the beach this weekend because it was hot and dry, but I'm tracking the return of storms in your First Warning 7-day forecast.
Folks in Boise, Idaho are in shock. This after a man with a knife stabbed several people at a child's birthday party Saturday night. Now investigators are trying to determine his motive. Kim Hutcherson has the latest.
A violent attack in Boise, Idaho has the community on edge. Multiple people were hospitalized, including children, after a stabbing at an apartment complex that houses refugees.
Our victims are some of the newest members of our community. They're victims from their past homes who have fled violence from Syria, Iraq, and Ethiopia.
Police responded to a call about a man with a knife around 8:45 p.m. Saturday evening. Officers were on scene by 8:50 and took the suspect into custody within minutes.
9 members of our community had been stabbed and laid injured. People were scattered across the apartment complex, both within apartments themselves, lying in the street, and in the walkways.
At least 4 individuals suffered life-threatening injuries. The suspect was identified as 30-year-old Timmy Kenner of Los Angeles, California. Authorities revealed disturbing details at a news conference Sunday afternoon.
Kenny attacked, targeting the children initially. The 3-year-old girl, whose birthday it was one of those seriously injured, including 2 4-year-olds, a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 12-year-old, along with 3 adults who tried to intercede to prevent the loss of lives of the children.
I'm Kim Hutcherson reporting.
Voters in Mexico cast their ballots today for their next president. Frontrunner Andrés Manuel López Obrador was one of the first to vote at his polling place in Mexico City. He faced 3 opponents. López Obrador promised a transformation of Mexico. All the Mexican presidential candidates were critical of President Trump's policies against migrants and Mexico. Elections were also held for posts at every level of the government. Right now, Obrador is in the lead. A manhunt is underway after an infamous gangster escaped from a prison in France for the 2nd time. Several armed men hijacked a helicopter to free him. Ana Cabrera has more.
A stunning jailbreak, purportedly filmed from behind bars. CNN cannot independently verify this video, but these shaky images appear to show the moments gunmen arrived to free this man, Redouane Faïd, France's most notorious gangster. His accomplices hijacked a helicopter and forced the pilot to fly to a prison near Paris. There, they staged a diversion, then smuggled the 46-year-old out of a visiting room before fleeing by air. Police later found the burnt-out chopper in an area northwest of Paris. The pilot was released unharmed. The fugitive and his men were nowhere to be found. Sunday's spectacular escape is shockingly not the first for this criminal mastermind. In 2013, Faïd held 4 guards at gunpoint at a detention center in the northern city of Lille, then burst his way into freedom, detonating explosives to destroy 5 fortified doors. A witness described the dramatic scene.
I first saw a prison guard walk by, followed by someone dressed in civilian clothes who was holding a gun to the guard's head. So I got a little scared and I hid in the room.
At the time, Faïd's lawyer said he was not surprised his client broke out.
C'est aussi un garçon qui est remarquablement intelligent.
It is also a young man, remarkably intelligent, and he is using his intellect to serve his ambitions, and I think he has so many years in prison behind him that he thought it was one too many.
The Frenchman is a self-styled modern-day gangster, often taking inspiration, he says, from Hollywood movies. He once wore a hockey mask during a heist like Robert De Niro's character in Heat, then brazenly attacked armored trucks and other targets. But for those who suffered his bravado, he is a real-life villain. The parents of a French policewoman killed in one of Faïd's robbery attempts were devastated by the news. CNN affiliate BFM reported. Now once again free and once again the subject of an international manhunt, his victims must wait for justice.
Ana Cabrera, CNN, New York.
Live from the Toyota First Warning Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Patrick Rocky.
Man, it was miserably hot and muggy today, and I have to tell you, it's only going to get worse tomorrow. It is going to feel like the triple digits through most of the afternoon. We're going to warm up very quickly. This is a look at our heat index forecast, and we're talking anywhere from between 100 and 110 in the afternoon. So that's why we do have the heat advisory. In effect, it is going to be dangerously hot and muggy. There is some relief on the way. It is still going to be humid, but less hot as we head toward midweek. So there's your big drop in temperatures. 93 tomorrow, then we're down to 89 on Tuesday. For the 4th of July, our mildest day, 87 degrees, and then we see things warm back up into the low 90s as we head toward Friday. Showers and storms will be returning. We will have a chance as we head toward Thursday as a weak little cold front tries to push in that may spark a few storms. Better shot from another cold front as we head into the weekend, but it looks like our significant chance for rain doesn't come until next weekend. High pressure is doing its job. It's keeping us high and dry, keeping the storms away, so you probably notice those clouds bubbling up. They just couldn't bypass that area of high pressure, and so we really didn't see anything in the way of wet weather, and we're not expecting anything for the next couple of days. So let's take a look at our forecast. See the time up here at the top of the screen. As we fast forward to tomorrow morning, we start the day with a lot of sunshine. We will see a few clouds as we head into the afternoon, but they're not going to be able to amount to much as we head into your Tuesday. A few more clouds as we kick off the day, but once again, really not going to develop into anything as far as showers and thunderstorms around. And we do hope that trend continues for Wednesday because we don't want any wet weather for the 4th of July. High temperatures today, we made it to 92 at Norfolk International. That is well above our normal of 87, but below the record of 100 set back in 1901. You see, we did make it to 97 in Williamsburg, 93 in Suffolk. We made it to 93 at the Coast Guard Station in Elizabeth City. For tomorrow, we expect temperatures about the same, if not a few degrees warmer. 94 on both sides of the Elizabeth River in Norfolk and Portsmouth, low 90s for the beach. Mid-90s tomorrow for Suffolk and Franklin, around 93 tomorrow in Chesapeake. Looks like we're going to top out around 93 in Hampton. Mid-90s in Newport News tomorrow. We may make a run at the century mark in Williamsburg. 98 is our forecast. Low 90s for Melfa and Wallops Island on the beautiful eastern shore. On the Outer Banks tomorrow, a little bit milder. Mid to upper 80s for Manio and Kill Devil Hills, around 90 in Moyock. Low to mid-90s for Elizabeth City and Hertford, Edenton, and for Ahoskie. And then there's the humidity. It's going to feel like 106 on average tomorrow afternoon, then only in the mid to upper 90s for our heat index for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then by Friday, we're back up into the triple digits. So for your Monday, 75 to start the day, 90 by midday, 93 in the afternoon with feels like temperatures between 100 and 110. A little bit of relief as we head toward Tuesday and especially for the 4th of July, one of our milder days. Then as we head toward Thursday and Friday, a little better shot for some showers and thunderstorms. Much better chance as we head toward next weekend. I'm not going to complain about rain for the weekend because it will help cool things off.
Yeah, no kidding. Tomorrow, make sure you're staying hydrated and indoors if at all possible.
Good advice.
Thanks. All right, here's Mitch.
Well, LeBron James has a new home, and it does not involve a city that sees snow in the winter. I'll tell you where up next. Plus, Cam Chancellor calling it a career on the football field. I'll tell you why he says it's time to walk away from the game he loves. Up next in your Geico Sports Report.
Now, News 3 Sports with Mitch Brown.
One of the greatest safeties in Seattle Seahawks history only played 7 seasons in the NFL. Chesapeake native Kenny Easley. The Pro Football Hall of Famer, though had a short career to some, was still considered one of the most ferocious hitters in the game. Now it's the end for another great Seahawks safety hailing from the 757. Norfolk native Cam Chancellor announced this afternoon that he is likely walking away from the game of football. It all started down the street at Maury High for Chancellor. After playing both quarterback and safety in high school, he went on to lead Virginia Tech to back-to-back ACC titles in 2007 and 2008. He spent all 8 of his NFL seasons with the Seattle Seahawks, including that 2014 Super Bowl run. And in Week 9 last season against the Cardinals, Chancellor injured his neck and was later placed on the injured reserve. Here's what he told us about his future just yesterday at Leroy Reynolds football camp.
I'm out here running around having fun with the kids. I don't really know what's going to happen yet with the neck injury. I feel pretty good. So, I got to leave that in God's hands right now. I don't really know a timetable on that, but whatever happens, I'm ready for whatever it is the next step may be.
In his 3-part letter posted on Twitter, Chancellor says, quote, to walk away from the game by choice is one thing. To walk away from the game because of the risk of paralysis is another, end quote. You can read the full letter on the sports page at WTKR.com. Well, up until a few hours ago, the NBA free agency period opened up pretty dull, with teams having less money this offseason. There hasn't been a bunch of absurd deals for middling players. Last night, though, Oklahoma City got a commitment from Paul George for the next 3 seasons. His deal will be worth $137 million over 4 years, with a player option on the final season. But the biggest whale in the ocean this offseason was LeBron James, and he has made his splash. Hours ago, his sports agency announced that James is heading to Los Angeles on a 4-year, $154 million deal. Now, James is entering year 16 with 3 championship rings on his fingers, but in his final press conference after the finals concluded, he said he would involve his family in this decision, and wherever they felt most comfortable, that will be his next stop. The Lakers are reportedly still working behind the scenes to add 2014 Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard. When you talk about baseball greats, I don't think Bobby Bonilla gets the credit he deserves. See, I'm not talking about his play on the field, but more so for pulling off one of the greatest finesse jobs of all time. In 2000, Bonilla was owed $5.9 million, but the Mets were ready to cut ties with him. So his agent said, why not just pay him $1.19 million every July 1st for 25 years, starting in 2011? A true American hero. Now, over at Harbor Park, the Tides called in a Chicago Cub to throw the first pitch out today. Yeah, pitcher's got a big butt. Yeah, that's Thomas Ian Nicholas from the classic movie Rookie of the Year. But this game was knotted up at 6-all in the 8th inning. That's until Brandon Lau brings the power. Mike Yastrzemski can't make a play on the ball. That double brings in 2 runs. The Bulls win the series finale by a final of 8-6 to complete the sweep. The Tides are back at home for a 2-game homestand facing Charlotte tomorrow. So obviously unfortunate news for Cam Chancellor, but very good on his part to still be in the community and still, get out of the game before it gets
absolutely.
too late.
And a lot of folks here in the 757 still supporting him, and we expect great things from him in the years ahead.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Mitch. We'll be right back right after this. After 44 years, a Pennsylvania resident has paid a ticket he received in the 1970s. Delivered in an envelope, Chief Michael Combs of the Minnersville Police Department received a letter with $5 inside, along with that outstanding ticket. The ticket from 1974, and it was for $2. The chief said that kind of ticket today would cost around $20. Chief Combs said he's still blown away that someone would keep a ticket and pay it after so many years. I like that he put $5 in the envelope, like estimating inflation at that point,
Yeah, but they should sell fees and all that stuff. It'll be $3,000.
Oh, yeah. I think he probably opened Pandora's box. They probably had forgotten about it from 1974.
Find you.
Yeah.
We've got to bring tickets back like that.
Yeah, no kidding.
It is going to be miserably hot and muggy for tomorrow. High of around 93, which sounds a lot like today, but there is going to be more humidity around, so it's going to feel like between 100 and 110 in the afternoon. I'll give it a charitable 4 out of 10 for my rating for tomorrow. In our 7-day forecast, you can see things do improve a bit, especially as we head toward the 4th of July on Wednesday, of high of 87 degrees, and then we start to warm back up toward the end of the work week and a good chance for storms by next weekend.
All right, that's going to do it for News 3 on this Sunday evening. Thanks for spending part of your weekend with us. Remember, the news continues in the morning now at 4:30 a.m. Make sure you wake up with the team, and until then, have a good night.